See the cush drive. I'm recording this right now, just so you know. Now, that movement I've never seen on my other cush drives on solids.
Yeah.
What do you know about it? Is it
Okay.
acceptable?
No. You don't want any movement.
Okay. Yep, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
That space just keeps giving and going. That ain't right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right.
No, it's not. And then this cushion drive, the bearing is bigger around, so the spacer isn't tied in the bearing like this side is, and there's no spacer in the hub, so the axle is kind of floating from this end to this end here.
Right.
And there's no
stabilizer
or nothing.
Yeah.
You know.
Is it possible that we're missing a part?
The wheel rolls easy if the chain's not on the bike. There may be parts missing. I don't know. But there's no spacer in between the cush drive and the hub. You know, for like you skim up the axle size, it's a big round bearing.
I understand.
With the axle going through the big round bearing, whereas it needs a spacer in there.
I understand.
And there's nothing in the package. And
is that close?
In order to get this wheel on and off, I have to remove the damn disc rotor.
Which I can't understand that. Why is that?
It's just so tight. Everything is so tight. And look at this minimal amount of clearance here.
Yeah, I see that.
I mean,
so the nut is right there, or is that the bolt
yeah.
is right there?
Yeah. And
it's not possible that we have too much, that we have an extra piece on this side.
okay, this side everything is good.
All right.
The spacer and the bearing and all that.
But that spacer that we have on this side, do you not have two of those?
Both spacers are the same. And there's other spacers on the other side of the cush drive.
It is the same as this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the diameter of the spacer is smaller than the bearing, and they put some kind of shim stock in the bearing.
Right.
And it's still too loose. You see how these spacers,
they fit nice and tight.
nice and tight into the bearing.
Right.
And then they bottom out
Right.
on the inner race.
Right.
And they slide into the collar,
Right.
the spacer.
It's an absolute perfect fit.
Yeah. And we don't have a fit like this at all on the left side. So anyway, we have the axle going through this spacer here, and in the hub itself, we just have the big bearing, and the axle is just floating, you know.
I understand.
And whereas it needs some kind of spacer,
Right.
but there's nothing with the kit, and I don't know. And then on the cush drive, for the spacer to go into, it has a bigger bearing and some kind of shim stock inside the bearing, but putting the spacer in, it's still loose in the bearing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the bearing in the cush drive is bigger than the hub bearing.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if maybe he's got a different bearing that he was supposed to send. Now, let's assume that we had the right bearing there. Could we then tighten up that? In other words, if we had the right bearing, would the axle be stable enough to use?
Yeah, but we need some kind of spacer on this side of the hub.
On this side?
Yeah, and then the cush drive on top of the spacer.
Right, I understand.
With a correct spacer. In other words, there has to be a spacer on this side of the hub.
Right.
And the cush drive will go in and butt up to the spacer.
I understand.
And then a correct spacer that will slide into the cush drive bearing. Without having that spacer, you can see how the wheel And the cush, well, I don't want to rock too much, but you've seen it before.
Where it
Yeah,
gives
how
here.
the
Yeah, when you drop it back down, if we
Uh-huh.
can do that again, I want him to see that.
Yeah.
You can drop it down.
And it's
Jack.
like the sprocket needs to come over more this way in alignment with the swing arm.
You mean?
See, it's going way out of alignment with the swing arm and into the tire. Like it needs, the sprocket needs to be moved out maybe this much.
Yep, I can see it. That space just keeps giving and going. That ain't right.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's a different hub that he should have had altogether. All right, so what is it, Mike, that we need?
Okay, we need a spacer of sorts to go in the hub, and then the cush drive go over the top of the spacer on the left-hand side
Right,
to keep from having any movement in the wheel.
correct. I understand exactly.
And then
what
the
you mean.
correct spacer and the cush drive.
Got it.
Yeah, that's the only way it's gonna work.
All right.
Uh-huh.
All right, I appreciate it. I'll be in touch with you.
Maybe they've left something out.
Wait a minute. All right, so for the axle size, you're saying that we need 20 millimeter.
20 millimeter.
20 millimeter. Okay.
Yeah, the exact same size as these spacers here. Which they did send 2 of them.
And that just wasn't enough.
Yeah, they sent 1 for each
Right.
side, but nothing to go between the cush drive and the hub.
So one